Hello, hello. Welcome to this M+ guide for a survival hunter on the second season of The War Within. In this video, I will be going through each different thing that you might want to know before going into the M+ season that starts tomorrow for season 2, the Undermine. We will split it up in chapters, so you can look on the YouTube bar underneath to jump to whatever you want to check out specifically. And it will be pretty much for each start of the chapter, I will immediately tell you this is what you want to do for talents, this is your stat priority, and etc. etc. So, with that said, we will jump straight into the first chapter, which is what talents should you be using? Alright, as of season 2 of Undermine, there has been small changes to Sentinel and a whole rework to Pack Leader. The changes to Sentinel is that the Lunar Storm that we are basically, you're throwing down the owl and it does damage in a circle when you press your bomb, and it's on a 30-second cooldown. It's been very good, and it's been your go-to talent for the first season of The War Within, and it's actually what we're going to do this season as well. So this one is what we're doing for M+ in season 2. And the change is as such that the Lunar Storm now slowly follows when the pack moves, which makes it even better because that was an annoying thing in season 1. So your go-to build is going Sentinel, and I'm not gonna go through everything, but you go with a 1-minute CD on Coordinated Assault, you go down for the Fury of the Eagle with a buff, so you get haste. Flanking Strike has been moved. It was here before. Now it's a choice node with Butchery. So basically, Butchery for M+, Flanking Strike for Raid. Pretty simple. Nothing other really changes for your rotation if you played it before. And for the rework of Pack Leader, go check out my previous video where I went through in detail what the changes are. But sadly, it doesn't really do as much as we want. It's very good for Beast Mastery, but not enough for survival. But it basically makes it so that when you do your kill command, you summon different pets, and they do different things, such as AoE, bleed, and damage increase. But it's not enough to compare with your Sentinel damage. But if you want to try it, it's still a fun build, I would say. You can try out this build that I'm having here. Both builds will be linked in the description below, so you can just copy them and try them out yourself and see what you like. Nothing really changes much on the class tree. You go pretty standard stuff. And we will move straight into a next chapter, which is what stat priority and also what gear should you be focusing on next season. As for the stat prio that you want to have in the season 2 is pretty much as you had in season 1, which is that, of course, agility is always king, so item level over stats is your main goal in the beginning of a season, but when you're starting to get your end gear, you will then start to check out what mastery or crit you want to have in percentage. But mastery is still king, so that's your main goal for the season. I have 15,600 mastery from the first season, and I can see that the numbers are gonna be pretty much the same. You go very much mastery, then as your second talent you go as your second stat you go crit, followed by haste and then verse. For Pack Leader, it's haste and crit are pretty much the same. But since Sentinel is better, I would suggest you always try to aim for mastery crit and then some haste. I have, as of season 1, I have 8% haste, about 18% crit, and then 19% mastery. And I would suggest maybe look around those numbers again. I don't know exactly how the number is going to be, but that will be a main. That will be something that probably is a good in direction for where you want to go. As of gear, there are some items that of course are better than others, and we have both some from the raid, and we have also some from N+. So for the weapon, there is a new one that is called Gigabank Breaker. It's basically a 200 polearm with your Bistat crit mastery. Pretty good. And it comes from the one-arm bandit, which is the 6th boss in the new raid. Good weapon, although if you have, like me, crafted a 200 polearm already from Season 1, I suggest you actually upgrade this one first, and then if you are raiding Mythic or something like that, yes, then you go for the other 200 weapon. But as a easier choice that you can get pretty early, and weapon is always pretty important, I suggest you upgrade your charged halberd as soon as possible. Probably as your first or at least your second upgrade once we get more, what's it called? Sparks, right? For trinkets, we have some from the raid as well, and also some from the M+. So you have, let's see. One of the best is Eye of Kazan, and it drops from the last boss of the raid, Chrome King Galawix. And it's mastery, and it has a high chance to Empired Eye, granting you a primary stat, decaying rapidly. While fully empowered, the Eye instead deals damage. So damage and a lot of agility and mastery, pretty good. Then we have House of Cards, which is from the one-armed bandit again. So we survival hunters really want to focus on the one-armed bandit in the raid. It has main stat, and then you deal yourself in, granting you mastery and stacking the deck. Stacking the deck increases the minimum mastery on future hands until you leave combat. So it's basically, I guess, giving you more mastery time you use it. And it's kind of like your Guardian's Grace, like we have now. You get a lot of mastery, and it's good to combine it with your Coordinated Assault. And yeah, that's it. As for some other optional trinkets, there is also the improved Sephorium Pacemaker, which is from the new dungeon, Operation Floodgate. This, however, I don't remember actually if this one is in the M+ rotation or not, but I think it is. So this is from a dungeon, so you can pretty much spam it as much as you want. And it's, agility, causing your first ability every 60 seconds to trigger explosive adrenaline, granting you crit while exploding. Crit causes you to blow up again, extending this duration. So it's a lot of crit and stat things. Then there is the Signet of the Priory, and it drops from Prio of the Secret Flame, which is also one of the dungeons that you want to focus on in the new season of M+. And it's flat stains, and as a use trinket, raises your signet to the light, increasing your highest secondary stat, which will be mastery. And that's pretty much, and it gives your party some of it too, so it's pretty good. Then there's another one which I think is actually a really bit weird, not weird, but it's actually, I'm surprised it's that good. This one is the Suspicious Energy Drink, and it's main stat, and then you have your use of harmful spells and abilities. There is a chance you also take a sip of the energy drink, increasing your mastery, gaining additional mastery if you are below 30% health. This one is a rare in the new zone Undermine, and you can see it here. It drops from a rare pretty close to the Incontentional Hotel, and it has a very fast spawn rate, I've heard, so you can pretty much farm it all day if you want, without much effort. So if you want something pretty relatively easily to get, I suggest maybe try this a few times if you're not having any luck with the other trinkets. Alright, that's pretty much what the main things. Then of course the tier is very important, and the tier they have kind of reworked the tier so that they pretty much work the same, all of them, but they give, of course, every class different stuff. But we have for Survival Hunter that your 2 set is that your spells and abilities have a chance to activate a winning streak. Winning streak is what most people will be having in their tier sets, and it interacts differently depending on the class. And the winning streak increases the damage of your next wildfire bomb by 3%, stacking up to 6 times. Wildfire bombs has a 15% chance to end your winning streak. So this can pretty much stack up to, I guess, if you actually get the 6 times, the bombs is gonna do a lot of damage. So there's some huge potential to it, and it sounds pretty good. I don't know how this is tuned, so maybe it's too low, so it's hard to get up to 6 times, and maybe we'll end up around 3 most of the time, and then you're lucky to get 6 times. Who knows? We'll see once we start playing. And then the 4 piece is when your winning streak ends, your next Mongoose Bite / Raptor Strike deals 400% increased damage and reduces the cooldown on Wildfire Bomb by 10 seconds. This is more so good for Raid than M+, but it can actually work pretty well with Pack Leader also, since you have a talent that makes it so that Raptor Strike spreads to more targets. Could be good, who knows, we will see. But it's pretty straightforward, right? Like if you end your winning streak, then you get a big Raptor Strike, and then you pretty much get 1 charge of Wildfire Bomb immediately, and that you can just spend immediately also. And this is what it looks pretty good. I'm happy with at least the Mythic version, looks pretty cool. So I'm positive about this tier set, more so than I've been for other tier sets before. So that's a good indication. Another side note is that the Circlet that we got in the 11.05 patch is still gonna be good for a while. So keep a hold on that one, and then you go with the Citrin is you go Stormbringers into Fathom Dwellers and then Legendary Skippers. And it's basically just a lot of stats for you. Once you get hero tracks, rings with good stats, then maybe yes, you can start changing this one, but I would suggest you actually sim it to see the difference. This might be something that we stick along for a long time before we even get Mythic track on our rings. Alright, that was the gear, and we will move on to rotation. For rotation, I will first off tell you pretty much 3 tips, that is some general rules that you can always follow to do good damage with your survival hunter. First off, you have different stuff that are having cooldowns on it, such as Wildfire Bomb. It has a 17-second recharge. You have Explosive Shot, you have a Fury of the Eagle, you have Coordinated Assault. You have different stuff that basically isn't like spammable. And my first tip is that don't keep abilities like not use them pretty much. Always keep them on cooldown, which means don't have 2 bombs and just press something else. If you actually get up to 2 bombs, you have to let go of 1 bomb so the other one can start recharging. Same with Explosive Shot. As soon as you get it, unless it's like the pack is dying within 2 seconds, yes, save it for the next pack. But if you have time to get it off, get it off. It's always better to use stuff all the time than save it for a ideal scenario. And that goes for the Coordinated Assault build also, especially now that we are playing with the 1 minute CD. 1 minute goes by pretty fast, and if you're rapid with it, you pretty much can use it all the time for every pack. You do tons of damage, and you don't really have to plan that much. If you're going with a 2 minute CD, you might want to plan a little bit more, so you know that you have it for big pulls, but that's why mostly the 1 minute CD outperforms the 2 minute CD, because you can just pretty much keep it on a constant rotation. For the second tip that I have is react to procs. Not only and this kind of goes with the first tip. Not only have you all those spells that you want to keep on CD, but there will also be procs on them, such as procs on explosive shots. You might get a proc on wildfire bomb. We talked about the 4-piece, for example, where once you use the Raptor Strike that is increased, you get a 10-second cutoff of the bomb, which pretty much gives you a charge. Then you can use that immediately. You will have a proc for the Raptor Strike. Use it. Don't save it. And react to that. And don't just think that you have a set rotation all the time. It's actually dynamic in the way that sometimes it procs more than others, and then you have to react to it. You have, for example, also Killshot will be procced by Death Blow, and that you must react to. Don't save it, right? And use it immediately, because if you're lucky, you might get 2 procs on top of each other, and if you were lazy with the first one, the second one doesn't count. It's just adding you basically time to use the proc, but you will only get 1 proc off. If you were fast with the first proc, then you can have 2 separate procs of a kill shot, which gives you more damage. And then my third tip and final tip is that don't other way around. Avoid resource waste, which is pretty much the same as having it's also tied up to the first and second tip, which is, of course, don't let bombs just stand there with 2 stacks, right? This goes with your focus as well. Don't just be on 100 focus, right? Spend it. And don't think that you can just spam kill command as much as possible. No, you have to spend your Raptor Strike too. As you know, our builder is kill command. We will have a lot of those and a lot of procs as well. And then you have to spend it on Raptor Strike, Butchery, and keep it like on a cycle, right? So if you follow these 3 tips, I would say you kind of get the hang of the rotation yourself. But I will show you just a little bit how it works, and you can look down in... No, this is gonna be wrong. Over there, basically, check my mouse here, will be a little just note showing you... Oh, I can actually give you this one too. Here is the rotation or what spells I'm pressing, and here is also a detailed one if you wanna slow it down and check that out. But for example, for a starter, start rotation, you get your pet in. I always try to go for a kill command first, and then I use a bomb immediately, hook myself in, use Butchery, explosive shot, then Fear of the Eagle. I have most of the stuff online. I have another bomb, let's use that. And now we press cooldowns. Now it's time again, bomb. I got a proc on explosive shot. I have Butchery up. I have a bomb up. Explosive shot. You see, I have a lot of procs. I'm not really using Raptor Strike that much when I'm in cooldown. Bomb. Explosive shot. I know now that I will get a proc on explosive shot once CA goes down, so I use that again. I use bomb. I always try to kind of save 1 at least. But now it's time to use a second bomb. I get a proc. Let's use it. I have 2 stacks of Tip of the Spear. I use Butchery, then bomb. It's time to spend some of it, so now I use Raptor Strike, get into a Fury of the Eagle for my haste, use a bomb, time for Butchery, bomb, I get a proc, it's time for kill commands. You cannot see the flow, I think, once you start playing. Like, always rotate around your different abilities, and then for a filler you use kill command, and if you have excess focus and nothing else to press, you then press Raptor Strike. That's kind of the main rotation tip I can give. But I don't think this game is designed to have a specific one all the time, right? So you kind of have to get a hang of it, and I'm showing you the ropes now in the beginning. Alright, that was it for the gear, and as a last section we will go through where you can keep yourself updated once people start playing more and what will be the meta for pretty much each day, so you don't miss out on what's going to be the best thing to use. And that is, of course, maybe some of you are using it, but I suggest you use murloc.io as your go-to source of quick information on a day-to-day basic. I use it all the time, and I know my survival hunter a lot. So you go into your class, I go into survival, it's on M+. Here I can basically see what are the top hunters rating. So I can see, okay, Dimboli is the top survival hunter right now in the world. I can then go check out specifically his profile, and here you can pretty much see everything. So let's go back to the general, because here they take the top 50, I believe, on the ladder. So here you can, for example, see from all the top 50 hunters, they have 26% mastery, they have 14% haste, and 30% crit. It's an indication, right? Because these are the top players, so they know what they're doing. So you can follow them with, for example, what stats to use, what talents are they using. You can see the number here shows that, yeah, 50 of them are using this one, only 34 are using this one, and 19 are using this one. But the highlighted one are pretty much the majority vote on what to use. And that's the class tree. Here's the spec tree. You can see that they're, as of Season 1 and Season 2, they are using this build that we talked about earlier. Most of them are using Sentinel, and that is correct. I have simmed it before. Pack leader doesn't perform as much. You can see best in slot gear on every piece. So you can see that all of them are using headpiece from the tier, right? And then you have the trail spinner's pendant from, this is Mist, right? I think so. So you can keep track on what people are using, the embellishment, what the enchantment you should use, gems, and this will not change, I believe. So yeah, go for master and crit for next season as well. Citrins, what races, and yeah, you get an overview on everything without having to search too much on different sources. So I definitely recommend that. And with that said, I hope you will have a wonderful time enjoying the Season 2 Undermine of The War Within. I for sure will, with the new M+ changes of once you get keys on 12, all the keys done on 12, you will not deplete your own key below 12, and it goes up. It's going to be a huge thing for M+ pushing, so I will do that a lot. And yeah, not so much else to say. If you have any questions regarding survival hunters that I have not mentioned today, or you don't seem to find it, it's very specific, hit me up both in the comments, but also join me on my Discord server, where you can contact me directly and we can have a more longer discussion about what you want to talk about. I will of course put up whenever I post more stuff there, also when I go live on Twitch. You can follow me on twitch.tv/Exaldor. I will be streaming most of the time I'm playing right now. So you can see me live playing keys, and you can see what are my rotations, because I have the add-on there, so you can see pretty much always what I'm using. And yeah, if you watched the whole video, thank you for watching, and of course subscribe, it helps me out a lot. We are on almost 700 subs, so I mean, we're not big, but we're getting there, right? So every sub counts, and I'm very grateful for it. And I hope you have a wonderful Season 2 with great pushing and a lot of good keys pumping as a survival hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.